Star Wars 7x7 episode 2208. Today, a review of a new travel guide. Yes, it's an in-universe travel guide. It is the Guide to Batu. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy. And thank you so much for joining me for it. So, Galaxy's Edge, right? That's the Star Wars land at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. I personally have not had the opportunity to go yet. I know a lot of folks have, and a lot of folks also have not. And I know that in the current times that we live in, even though Walt Disney World is open as of this recording, I don't know. Probably not as many people who might have gone are going to be going. And so if you are interested in Galaxy's Edge and learning more about what's going on there, well, there are other resources for you. Some of them are happening in storytelling, for example, in novels like Black Spire by Delilah Dawson, or A Crash of Fate by Zoraida Cordova, or Thrawn Alliances by Timothy Zahn, right? So Black Spire Outpost has played a part there. It's been referenced in other things like in Solo, A Star Wars Story, for example. There's even a Marvel Comics series, a 4-issue limited series about it too. So that's, storytelling stuff. On the nonfiction side, there's something coming out tomorrow from Becker and Mayer that is pretty cool, and it is the Traveler'S Guide to Batu. It's written by, allegedly, Eloc Throno, right? I'm saying allegedly because this is actually an in-universe guide, and Eloc Throno is a thinly veiled anagram of Cole Horton. He, of course, is the author of a number of Star Wars nonfiction and reference books, including the Book of Lists that we actually talked about last month and had him on the show to talk about. But this one, the Traveler's Guide, is obviously much different in that it is written in-universe. So as opposed to, us being in the real world and looking at all these movies and things in them. No, this is written from the point of view of a person who is actually a travel guide writer named Eloc Throno, who is telling you everything there is to know about Batu and Black Spire Outpost, basically telling you what you are going to experience if you go to Galaxy's Edge. And the fact that it's in-universe means that there has to be a certain hedging of bets, if you will, when it comes to politics. Like early on in the book, and this is also something that we've talked about in the past, that because Galaxy's Edge, like when you walk into there, you're supposed to be walking into Galaxy's Edge on a certain day, in a certain, however they mark time at that level in the galaxy, a certain moment in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And so there is a current political situation, and there's even a section addressing that in talking about the First Order and the Resistance. And it says, for example, depending on how you look at them, the Resistance, led by former Rebel Alliance General Leia Organa, is made up of either freedom fighters or instigators. And there's similar language around the First Order descriptions there as well. And if you are interested in connecting the Traveler's Guide with stories that have been told in the Star Wars universe, like Thrawn Alliances, for example, there are elements that will connect it there. There are elements that connect to A Crash of Fate and to Black Spire. There is even a reference to the High Republic in here. At least one. I don't know. I may not have found everyone, but I did see at least one. And it's pretty seamlessly blended in. So if you're not interested in or looking to make those connections, that's perfectly fine. It is very well written and very thorough, good fun. Like, looking through all the different sections of the book and seeing how, from Oga's Cantina to the forest where the Resistance is hiding, to the Black Spire marketplace and the food stalls and the Savian Suns where you make your lightsabers and all that. I mean, this is a wealth of information, and there's even a reference to how you might arrive at Galaxy's Edge, including the Galactic Star Cruiser that is supposed to be the hotel eventually opening at Walt Disney World. So they've managed to build this in. And that is kind of one of the things that strikes me about it, is that the fact that Galaxy's Edge, like when you step in, you're stepping into a preserved time and space, right? And I think there have been discussions here and there about how, there's not necessarily any plans to make Black Spire and the experience of Galaxy's Edge at one of the Disney parks to make it suddenly represent a different moment in time. And as a result, there are details in here that can get really granular, even down to food and drink, right? And you would think that they wouldn't commission something like this if it wasn't going to be pretty stable. So ultimately, I'm very impressed by the Traveler's Guide to Batu, and I said this on Twitter the other day, but honestly, like, this book should be, when the Galactic Star Cruiser hotel opens, this book should be in every single hotel room. It should be part of the package when you check in to make your reservations, or make your reservations and then check in. They should be giving you a copy of this before you get there, or at least on arrival. I would say it's as indispensable and necessary to the hotel room as whatever passes for the Gideon Bible in the world of Star Wars. So there you go. Oh, one other thing too. The galactic map that's in the Traveler's Guide is a little bit more simplified compared to what appears in other reference works, but it also feels like it is more complete with more planets listed, and so I find it to be a great resource in that regard as well. So highly recommended, great fun, and Cole Horton did a great job adapting the persona of Eloc Throno and writing the travel guide from that perspective. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.